250 years old without doing something awesome to celebrate? Of course not. That's why they're raising $250,000 for America's Warrior Partnership by the end of July. America's Warrior Partnership is on the front line of preventing veteran suicide. They've had extraordinary success, and here's how you can help. When you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk this month, you'll be invited to round up to support America's Warrior Partnership. No pressure, but if you do, Pure Talk will match your donation dollar for dollar. And to further celebrate 250 years of our extraordinary democratic republic, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. That's pound 250, say Mike Rowe. And happy birthday to us.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Starting tomorrow, the public can buy stock in Elon Musk's rocket company, SpaceX, via an initial public offering.
In an IPO, banks and other financial institutions act as intermediaries. They buy the stock being issued by the company and then sell it to the public. Before that happens, they gauge investor interest to determine a final offering price.
Damian Troisi reports this promises to be the biggest IPO ever on Wall Street. Producer prices here in the U.S. climbed last month at the fastest rate since 2022, fueled by a surge in energy costs after the start of the Iran war.
The Labor Department says the producer price index jumped 6.5% from a year ago. The price of gas up by 23% from April to May.
That is Laura Winters reporting a booming session on Wall Street. At the closing bell, the Dow was up 929 points. The Nasdaq gained 640 for the Wall Street Business Report. I'm Bob Agnew.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. While we're not cooling down much, our low dips to just 76 this evening. Tomorrow, look for mostly sunshine-filled skies. A blazing hot 99 is the high, with a feels-like temp topping out at 106. For the weekend, increased chance for rain, especially on Sunday, with a 50% chance we get afternoon storms. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
And good evening, everybody. Good to have you with us on this toasty, big Thursday evening in South Carolina. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to have you with us. Hope you had a wonderful day at work. Work, work, work. That's what our people do who listen to Sports Talk. You're heading home. You've had a hard day at work. Now you tune over to Sports Talk for what will be the 2 best hours of your day, and we are jammed up full of it tonight, maybe more so than normal, full of it tonight. No Chris Bergen, so we're a little bit lighter on the Bergie side, but the plumber is here, Josh Cohen, so nothing has changed there. Our phone number, 888-898-2525. That is a South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. And our text line number is 803-900-4847 if you prefer to text us. Comment or question or observation. Love to take that as well. So, boy, what a busy, busy day. Let's start at the end and work our way back. The end of the day, just a little while ago, Coastal Carolina announced that Chris Lemonis is the new head baseball coach of the Chanticleers. How about that? Chris Lemonis, the new head baseball coach of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. He is a Socastee native and grad. He is a Citadel grad. He is a guy who has taken teams to the College World Series. He's a guy who has a national championship ring for Mississippi State. Very highly regarded baseball coach. And now he's going to replace Kevin Schnall as the head coach at Coastal Carolina, with Schnall now at South Carolina. And South Carolina, by the way, will have a fan welcoming for Schnall tomorrow night over at Founders Park. We'll be there doing Sports Talk tomorrow night from Founders Park. So we look forward to being over there to take that all in, to see how it goes. So Chris Lemonis, now the head baseball coach at Coastal Carolina. Tell you a little bit more about him before we talk about some other things. As I mentioned, he is from Socastee, went to Socastee High School, then went over to the Citadel, and was over there. He was on that Citadel team that made it to the College World Series back in the early 90s. So, I mean, he's got Omaha written all over him. He's been part of 18 NCAA tournaments, 5 World Series. As a head coach, he's led his programs to 6 NCAA tournament appearances, 2 World Series appearances. He has 370 victories. Very highly regarded coach, no doubt about it. 111 Major League Baseball draft selections, 22 Major League players, 38 All-Americans, a career coaching record of actually 373, 226, and 2 over 11 seasons. He really hasn't been a head coach for all that long, 11 seasons at Indiana and Mississippi State. He won the 2021 championship at Mississippi State, the first title in program history. He also led the Bullies to the 2019 SEC regular season championship and the 21 SEC tournament championship. Under Lemonis, Mississippi State advanced to 2 College World Series, 2 Supers, and 3 NCAA tournament berths. And then things kind of went south for a couple of years, and they fired him. In fact, they went from did they not go from first to worst? They won the national championship, and the next year they just had a terrible year, if my memory is right. But it happens. It happens. And Mississippi State made the change, and it took them a little while to get it right. Now they've got Brian O'Connor, and it looks like they've got it right. His wife, by the way, is a Coastal Carolina grad. So a pleasant homecoming for him from that standpoint. He spent 8 seasons as an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator at Louisville, helped build Louisville into a program that went to 3 College World Series during his time there, and was the winningest program in the nation over an 8-year span. He also spent 12 years on the coaching staff at the Citadel, where he rose to associate head coach. So he's a guy whose name always would come up. Every time South Carolina had an opening, Chris Lemonis would always come up. So he is the new guy. They'll have a press conference tomorrow in Conway with him, and so we'll either hear from that or have him on with us live tomorrow night. And before we move on, let me say this. Kudos to our guy, the bad boy, Alan Smothers, who called it correctly, both on his show and when he joined us on our show, when he said, first of all, that Kevin Schnall would be the new head coach at South Carolina, and he said Chris Lemonis would be the guy to replace him at Coastal Carolina, and that is exactly what has happened. Now, I know people will nitpick and say, well, what about his timeline projection? This is true. Let me tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you what I think and what I know, which is kind of a combination of 2 things. I think this, but I think I know it as well from people I've talked to and what I believe to be the case. I really believe that it was Schnall all the way and nobody else. Other names were floated out there, Forbes, Sabins, etc. I really believe that it was Schnall from the get. And what I think happened was Coastal Carolina finished their season on that Sunday in Tallahassee, came back on Monday. I believe that an offer of some sort was presented to Schnall on that Tuesday. Either some sort of an understanding or an offer or a communication, maybe not directly from Jeremiah Donati to him, but through his agent. But I think there was something communicated that would indicate an offer and an acceptance to some degree, some sort of a wink or a nod of the head, and that information got to Smothers. That was on that Tuesday, or that Monday night or that Tuesday. And that's when he reported it, and he came on our show and reported it as well. And there were a few things that had to be worked out. I mean, nothing is ever totally smooth. There were some things that had to be worked out. And there were some things that had to be worked out as far as who was going to join him in Columbia. Was Matt Williams going to join him in Columbia as the pitching coach? I think some things had to be worked out there to get that squared away. Because, look, Matt Williams was in Columbia. Then he was rudely kicked to the curb. That might have ruffled some feathers, and that might have to have been smoothed out to get that done. So that was one thing. Then there were obviously contractual things that had to be worked out because, as we presented to you earlier in the process, Kevin Schnall has he's very meticulous about his contract with a lot of bonuses, performance bonuses included. He didn't have as many of this one at South Carolina as he had at Coastal Carolina, but those things still had to be worked out. So I think that there was some sort of an understanding there early on, right then and there, that this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time before everything got worked out. As Alan Smothers said, it was going to get worked out in both cases, both for this and for Lemonis. I believe that once this thing started happening early with with Schnall, that Chance Miller began his negotiations with Lemonis, began talking with Lemonis. How could you not have and get this done this quickly? It takes time. So he obviously has been talking to Lemonis for probably over a week because he knew this was happening for more than a week. This thing just didn't happen like yesterday or 2 days ago to get the offer and get it done with Schnall. This thing had to be done several days ago, as I suggest. And at the same time, Chance Miller is now talking to Lemonis, getting that done because the day after Schnall is hired, he's announcing Lemonis. It just doesn't happen that quickly unless you've done all the background work and everything. Your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, as they say. So that's how I believe all this came to pass. So I just want to say that to give a big old pat on the back to Alan Smothers, who deserves it because from the beginning of his reporting, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I don't want to waste my spit, but you've got naysayers out there. You got competitors in the media who are jealous, who don't accept the fact that a guy on a radio show in Myrtle Beach, Conway, Florence can have solid information and present it and be given the credit, which is unfortunate for them more than it is for him. It kind of tells you more about their character than his. And then you got people who come on like our timeline and start railing on us in connection with him about that information and questioning our credibility and his credibility. These trolls that come on these timelines that do that I pay no attention to, except to say now, you were wrong, he was right, and by connection, we were right. So think about that the next time you take off on somebody because you don't know what you're talking about. And maybe that person does because they've been in the business for, in his case, over 30 years in one location, and he has connections to the program that are better than anybody else's. So that is that. Now, the other news, Monty Lee, who'll be joining us a little bit later on. Monty Lee, everybody loves, it's like I got to change his name to Sara Lee. The commercial, everybody loves Sara Lee. Cakes, Sara Lee cakes. You ever heard of Sara Lee cakes? You look at me like you never heard of Sara Lee.
It seems like you've had a lot of those.
I've had my share of Sara Lee, absolutely.
I don't eat those very
often. They make great products. No. But there's a commercial that says, what is it, everybody loves Sara Lee or nobody doesn't love Sara Lee? Nobody doesn't love Monty Lee. It must be his charming good looks or his personality or just the name Monty Lee it sounds like a friendly name. So Monty is going back to the College of Charleston, his alma mater where he was once the head coach, to work with Chad Holbrook as the assistant head coach at the College of Charleston. So that is a win-win for both, for Chad and for Monty and for the Cougars. That's got to be very beneficial to them. So congratulations to him on that, for getting that done. That's pretty awesome. And he's going to join us at about 6:45 or so, 6:47. What you got?
Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sara Lee.
We got to change that to money. Can you do a little AI work on that and get that done? Let's see if we can get that done.
I'll try.
That'd be cool. He'll be with us about 6:47 to talk about this move in his career. And so we got the College World Series about to begin. Jason Patterson, Mr. College World Series in Omaha. He'll be joining us at 7:35. Mike Morgan on the move at 7:05 tonight. And Chris Dorsey at the bottom of this hour in just a few minutes to catch us up on the American Legion stuff since last week. So we got all this baseball stuff going on, and it's all good stuff going on as well. Plus, we got recruiting to talk about. Clemson really putting together a very strong high school recruiting class. Looks like they may be in position to get a couple of more defensive player commitments, maybe as many as 3 more defensive player commitments here after their visits coming up this weekend. South Carolina's visit list for this coming weekend has dwindled to 3 as it stands now. Maybe they could add another player or 2 by the weekend, but right now it stands at 3. We'll go over all of that with you as well. Oh, the Gamecocks offered an in-state basketball prospect who's got a lot of talent, and he's not all that heavily recruited, probably because he's only 5'11", but he's got game apparently, and he comes from a basketball family. Colton Fowler, they call him Colt Fowler from Burns, picked up an offer today from South Carolina, so we'll talk about that. What else you got, Plummer? Anything else on your mind? What else is going on this big, hot, fiery Thursday?
Nothing much.
Okay, good to hear from you. So let's run to the break, that we will come back with more. If you want to join in, phone number 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. You can learn more about the lottery's impact at sceducationlottery.com/educationwins. And playing for fun is a win for education. A text line number brought to you by Larry Lucas State Farm Insurance is 803-900-4847. LarryLucasAgency.com. Visit him and save hundreds or more. LarryLucasAgency.com. Back in a moment.
It might be tough to picture your kid in college today, but it'll be here before you know it. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to start saving right now. You can start with any amount. Savings grow tax-free, and friends and family can chip in too. Discover the smart, easy way to save today at FutureScholar.com. That's FutureScholar.com. That's FutureScholar.com.
This is Major Billy Downer with the Department of Natural Resources, and I've got a message for all of our hunters out there. When you go afield, always make sure to positively identify your target. Know the identifying features of the game you're hunting, and know what's beyond your target in case you miss. If you want more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov or join us on Wednesday nights for SC Wild.
You can listen to SC Wild on the Sports Talk Media Network or at dnr.sc.gov/podcasts.
Hi, I'm attorney Jim Corbett. For over 35 years, I've been handling claims and cases for individuals and small businesses. I've now been a mediator for more than 10 years. Let me put that experience to work for you. Like if you're injured in a wreck or on the job or at someone else's place, anytime you should get reimbursed or compensated. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968 or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Corbett with an E, and the initial consultation is free. Jim Corbett, to settle your claims, avoid a lawsuit, or go to trial.
What about that NBA game? How many times have we said that this year? Not many, but what about that NBA game last night? I got to talk about it for a moment because it's like one of the big national stories, because it's New York and it's the Knicks and it's the way that game was played. And there's a lesson to be learned from that performance by the Spurs in the second half. I mean, something that I've seen all year long as a Celtics fan, watching the Spurs play last night. They played in the second half right into the Knicks' hands. I mean, it's one thing if you're a three-point shooting machine, as the Spurs were in the first half, and they built that 29-point lead early in the third quarter. They were making three after three after three. But, I mean, the odds of keeping that up are not high, and it's not realistic. Sometimes in a regular season game, you might do that in both halves. I've seen the Celtics score 70, 75 points in a half and then keep it going in the second half, and they'll make 25 out of 47 three-pointers, a great percentage, and it sounds like great science and great strategy. But more often than not, the threes stop going in. And what do you do then? And as a Celtics fan, that was their problem. What do you do then? Well, with the Spurs last night, that was their problem. Yet you've got probably today the most dynamic player in the world, and he hardly touched the ball. He hardly touched the ball except on alley-oops or rebound attempts. They should have been feeding him the ball every time down the court. Instead, what'd they do? They kept shooting threes. They kept shooting threes, and they did it fast. No consideration of using clock with a 29. Just do the math. If you've got a 29-point lead, all right? If you've got a 29-point lead and there's 24 minutes to play, and if you come down and eat up 20 seconds on a possession, barring, of course, something in transition, but you eat up 20 seconds in transition, you're going to really limit the number of attempts the other team can have unless you just turn the ball over repeatedly and give them quick scores. If you just play your normal game, your normal defense, you eat up some clock and you make a few shots here and there, it's almost, from a time standpoint, it's almost impossible to make it up. But too many teams are still going to play because they believe in the three-pointer, the analytics. They're going to keep throwing up threes. And those were difficult threes the Spurs were shooting. And as the game gets tighter, the shooting gets more difficult because you get tighter as a player, I would imagine. And they kept throwing them up. And I'm like, why don't you throw it to the big man? Why don't you go to the basket? And they kept throwing them up. And then the Knicks, what did the Knicks do? The Knicks didn't panic. They did not panic. They did not get into a three-point shooting contest. They played their offense. They shot threes in rhythm inside their offense. They continued to drive the lane. They continued to draw fouls. They hit the glass. And, Brunson did his thing, made his incredible shots. Towns, he contributed. OG, of course, had the big tip in at the end and the big block prior to that. And that's another thing. What was Fox thinking? I mean, that was selfish. That was a very selfish play. And I think Wemby said that after the game, that he didn't name anybody, but he said they got selfish. That was a selfish play. You're up. All you got to do on that fast break is dribble on through the lane, keep the ball alive, keep it moving. They've got to foul you, or you're going to run down so much clock, they're not going to have a chance to catch you. One of the worst second-half performances you'll ever see in the moment. And, of course, the Madison Square Garden crowd was going berserk. And it was just, it turned out to be a great game. It looked like a snoozer. And it turned out to be, of course, a historic game. The largest blown lead ever in an NBA Finals, 29 points. And now the Knicks are a win away from winning an NBA championship. So, pretty incredible stuff last night in the NBA. And they had a huge television audience for game, let's see, that was game, they're up 4. So game 3 in New York, I think I read where ABC did like 26 million viewers. 26 million viewers, and they probably did about the same last night, I would think. So the NBA, of course, they got to be loving that, having the Knicks in there and the following that the Knicks have and the TV draw that they are. So terrific finish to a game that looked like it was just going to be nothing but a terrific finish, and some very dumb playing by the Spurs. That's probably all I'm going to say about the NBA Finals because, really, if the Celtics or the Lakers aren't in it, I should say who cares, but apparently, 26 million plus do care because they tuned in to watch. Okay, text message from Roger in Woodruff. He goes, interesting. I don't believe Holbrook and Lee have ever worked together, though both were on the USC staff at different times. I think you're right. They never overlapped. I'm happy for Monty. I think they'll do well. Well, they got to get some players. Obviously, you got to get some players. I mean, Chad has had the college on the brink of the NCAA tournament on multiple times. He just hasn't been able to break through. He's had them there. He just hasn't been able to break through. Had a team, as you heard him on this show, not this year. This year's team did not turn out good, but last year's team was really good, and he believed deserved to be in the NCAA tournament, even though they lost in the CAA to, I think it was Northeastern. But they deserved to be in the field as well, but they weren't chosen. He knows that that's a one-bid league. You've got to be good enough. Well, you got to win your tournament to get into the NCAA tournament. From the 843, you think Kevin Schnall, this guy needs a lesson in how to spell the name.
Or some spell check.
Schnall. Or it could have been, it could have been his computer automatically putting the words in. You think Kevin Schnall will reach out to some of the transfer players to try to change their mind to come back to the program, or is it too late? It's not too late. No, it's not too late. And I would think he would reach out to some who have not made decisions to go somewhere else and signed. I would think that he would reach out to some. And like Will Craddock, I think, would be an automatic that you would go after and say, come on back. And Will Craddock being, I think he's from a Gamecock family. I think they're strong Gamecocks. I'm sure it bothered him to have to leave. I would think they would reach out to him. That would be one. But, I mean, outside of Craddock, who kind of slipped after that great start, I mean, nobody who left has anything to point to as to why you'd want to have them back based on their performance of this past season, because none of them had good seasons. But there might be a couple or so that he would like to talk to about coming back. Okay, we're going to hit the break. Going to dive into more baseball when we come back.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. While we're not cooling down much, our low dips to just 76 this evening. Tomorrow, look for mostly sunshine-filled skies. A blazing hot 99 is the high, with a feels-like temp topping out at 106. For the weekend, increased chance for rain, especially on Sunday, with a 50% chance we get afternoon storms. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump said Thursday he had called off new military strikes on Iran, claiming a breakthrough in negotiations to end the war just hours after the American leader threatened to escalate the conflict by seizing control of Iran's oil industry. A Minnesota man who assassinated the top Democrat in the Minnesota House and her husband has pleaded guilty so that federal prosecutors would not seek the death penalty. Vance Bolter fatally shot Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark Hortman. He is also charged in the non-fatal shootings of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette Hoffman. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 929 points, the Nasdaq rose 640, the S&P advanced 127. More details at srnnews.com.
Nobody plans for a plumbing problem. They come unannounced and usually at a very inconvenient time. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is your trusted ally. They recognize just how vulnerable a customer is at this time, and they want to help. They have well-trained plumbers who are there to make a difference when you need it most. I've experienced this. They're knowledgeable about their craft. They're not coming to your house to pitch new products. If something is broken, they'll give you a price to fix it if it's possible, or a price to replace it if necessary. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is also locally owned and operated, or I simply wouldn't endorse them. Josh and his team prioritize customer service above everything else. They handle every issue with care and precision. Those are not just words. I've had Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning out to my home. They back up those words with their actions. If you have a crisis, get some peace of mind. Online, you find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com, or you call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. I'm absolutely positive they will make whatever is wrong right again. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
Get ready for a summer of adventure with Founders Federal Credit Union. Now through July 31st, you can take advantage of a special 5.99% APR on select travel purchases made with your Founders credit card. Whether you're planning a road trip across the state, a relaxing beach getaway, or finally checking off that bucket list destination, we're here to help you make it happen. With this promotional APR, you can enjoy your summer without the stress of high interest rates. Pack your bags, gather your loved ones, get moving on your dream vacation. Founders makes it easy to enjoy more. So go ahead, kick back, relax, and soak up every sub-soak moment of your well-deserved summer break without breaking your budget. Learn more and see the list of qualifying purchases at foundersfcu.com/cc. Let Founders help you take the trip of a lifetime. Promotional rate ends February 1st, 2027. Effective APR of 12.5 to 17.9% will apply. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
Nothing better than a Saturday night in Casey, West Columbia. It's the return of Rhythm on the River, proudly presented by the Greater Casey, West Columbia Chamber and Prisma Health. Come out to the Savage stage at Savage Craft Aleworks on Center Street this Saturday and give a listen to Queens of Country. It's family-friendly and pet-friendly. This year, we even have pop-up bands of various local businesses. For more information on this and all events, check out cwcchamber.com/Rhythm on the River, and we'll see you Saturday at Rhythm on the River.
Now we got all this off-the-field baseball action happening around the state. Let's talk about some things happening on the field. The American Legion season. Boy, you know, when the temperature gets in the mid-90s and the humidity is in the upper 90s, it is American Legion baseball time. Let's welcome in Chris Dorsey to Sports Talk once again to catch us up on everything that is going on in the American Legion world here in South Carolina. I want to mention, of course, that Chris relaunched American Legion Ball at Richland Post 215 in 2022. And our rundown is presented by the Big Red Box Company. Just like Sports Talk, the Big Red Box dumpsters cover the state. Big Red Box containers have convenient swinging doors on the back for easy loading. Make your dumpster rental simple by calling Big Red Box 803-783-6834 or Google Big Red Box Dumpster Company. As a matter of fact, I was driving through the neighborhood the other day, and what did I see? A big red box dumpster in somebody's, I think it was not a business, but a yard, doing its thing. So, hey, you're getting your stuff out there.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I tell you what, it's kind of a crazy night again tonight. We were supposed to play over at Brooklyn Casey High School, and a pipe busted. in the outfield. So we had to, at 5 o'clock, I got a call saying we needed to switch the game back to AC Flora High School. So we're going to be actually visitors at our home park tonight.
Wow. How about who are you playing? The team from BC?
Well, we're playing West Columbia Legion. West Columbia Legion comprises of Brooklyn Casey, Airport, White Knoll, Swansea, Gray. Those are those guys.
Yeah, so, I mean, you just never know on a given night what's going to happen. It could be the weather or it could be a busted pipe that caused you a problem, huh?
I'm like Jackie Moon. I'm the general manager, ticket taker, the coach. I mean, I got a lot of great help, but you got to improvise, adapt, overcoming this, and that's what makes it fun.
Absolutely. How'd the pipe burst? From the heat? Not from the heat. Could it be from the heat?
I have no idea, but I can tell you what, every day in Legion is something different, and you wake up and it's never exactly how it's going to be planned, but that's kind of been my whole life: improvise, adapt, overcome, and so I'm the perfect guy for it. So, but as long as I got my guys here and we get to play at 7 o'clock, that's all that matters to me.
Well,
this will be our third game of the season.
You got a beautiful little ballpark over there at AC Florida to play on too.
It's gorgeous. It's such a tucked in the middle of the city and Forest Acres, and the field looks great. I'm actually in the concession stand right now looking out at the field. It's a beautiful ballpark, and it's very hitter friendly too. All
right, catch us up on what's happened since last week around the league.
Yeah, so last week we played right before we talked. We played that North Charleston team, and loaded with college players from Citadel and College of Charleston, starters and guys that are rising sophomores in college, and we beat them 12-10. It was not the prettiest of games, but we had some good arms out there for us, and they did too, and we pulled out a win there. Then we played this week. We won game one of the first game of a 3-game series. We play tonight, and then we play tomorrow. Camden is at Fort Mill right now. They won the first couple. I think they're 2-1. Florence is Florence got upset the other night by Manning Santee. So Manning Santee must have a good team because Florence is always loaded. And then so they're in their 3-game series right now. They're 1-1 going into I think tonight or tomorrow night. But and I've been following a little bit of Chapin Newberry. Chapin Newberry is weird. They play out of, so they get Dutch Fork, Chapin, Newberry, Clinton, Saluda, and so they get some powerhouse high schools. They actually, like Dutch Fork has to drive, their players have to drive to Newberry College to play. Well, that their league is Easley, Anderson, Greenville. So they got a lot of travel on that end. So we're lucky, being Sumter actually has beat this week in our league. Sumter beat Lexington 2 out of they've won 2 games. They got a third one tomorrow night. And, our league's very comfortable. We go to Lexington High School, Brooklyn Casey High School, and Sumter. So we got really good drives.
Do you guys, when you have to travel a distance, does everybody come on their own or you have a bus?
That's funny. So the first year on my foundation team, I had Xander Buchan and Jake Sears and Phillips Daniels, just some really awesome players. And I was going to, rent buses. And the first time I rented, I got a bus and some vans, and half the team showed, it was our first time. So we were all winging it, and half the team showed up. We were playing. Our first game, Phil, was against Amp Phillips at Lancaster. We had no idea. I was like, I don't know how this is going to be, guys. I mean, we might be, this competition might not be any good at all. It might be incredible. We got nothing. So we go up there and we face Amp Phillips in game one. And needless to say, the guys came back afterwards and said, man, is it going to be this good every night? Because Amp was, really good, and he just kept getting better. But to answer your question, so that night, half my team was in Lancaster, and I was screaming and yelling at people and going, where's my team? And they were all waiting at me for me at the ballpark. My son was on that team, and he said, hey, Dad, the guys just like driving by themselves better. Is that okay if we do that?
Really?
You forget these guys are 19, 18. I mean, half the fun of Legion is getting in the car with your buddies, chewing the fat. And so they like to drive.
So let's talk about a team that's always right in the middle of it. Camden Post 17. They're off to, going by the standings here, they're off to a 2-0 start. And what do they have this year? Are they loaded per usual?
They are absolutely loaded offensively. I don't know much about their staff other than I know Johnny Collins was a pitcher of the year. He's obviously good from Blythewood. But, I mean, if you look at their lineup, Phil, I mean, they've got Maverick Grisby, a rising sophomore at USC Aiken. He was first-team All-Peach Belt. Jaden Williams, the starting center fielder for Citadel, is their, he's their center fielder. So then they've got Jefferson from Lugoff Elgin. They've got Dixon from Camden. They got Amari Counts hit 2 home runs last night. He's going to Flodar from Blythewood. Johnny Collins, who I mentioned. I mean, they look like offensively it's the cream of the crop because they've got 2 superstar all-conference college players playing on their team, which was surprising. Typically, Phil, all-conference college players end up going to play in a collegiate league, and I think Jaden Williams is playing for the Blowfish some, but he's going to play for Camden because I think their coach did a lot for Jaden. Believe it or not, that guy was not highly recruited, which blew my mind when I saw him play. I thought he was the best player in the Midlands last year by far, and I think he proved that at Citadel this year.
Let me ask you a question. So I'm looking at the 3A division. Now, what is the difference in the 3A division and the senior division?
Yeah, so that's 17 and under. Most of the guys, like we have a AAA team. They're actually playing Irmo tonight. They play the same type of teams. But as far as they'll play like Lugoff. Our 17U's played Camden. They've played Lugoff. Now they're playing Irmo tonight. They'll play Lexington. They'll play Sumter. 17U's awesome. And there's 52 teams in 17U. And I love what the high school coaches have done. They've kind of seen the value of keeping their teams together. So what they can do is instead of going off of a post, they can set up a Legion team and they can control it. So it's 90% of the guys on a 17U team are JV players and that are going to be the rising juniors starters next year.
So that tells me that Georgetown's going to be pretty good next year in high school baseball. They're off to a 5-0 start, the Georgetown Post 114 team.
Yeah, I mean, and I tell you, if you come to a 17U game, it's very competitive. I would say the 17U team games are about like 2 or 3A high school competition. Very solid. 19U with what we're playing is a little bit better than high school and probably not as good as the Flodars or USC Sumters, but I mean, kind of somewhere in between there.
Well, we will let you run and get ready for your game since you are hosting tonight, and you're going to have first pitch at what, 7 o'clock?
Yep, 7 o'clock, 16 minutes away.
Well, we urge anybody listening to us in the greater Columbia area, you want to go watch some baseball tonight, get over to AC Flora.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Phil.
Thank you, Chris. Talk to you next Thursday.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, Chris Dorsey, American Legion. Of course, he's the coach of that Richland Post team, but he also, of course, helps us with the overview of everything with American Legion baseball here in South Carolina, brought to you by the Big Red Box Container Company. And we thank Chris for being with us tonight here on Sports Talk. After the break, it will be Monty Lee. Monty Lee on the move. Not Mike Morgan on the move. Monty Lee on the move as he's headed to the College of Charleston, back to his alma mater as the assistant head coach with Chad Holbrook. Chad Holbrook will be with us tomorrow night as he breaks down the first day of play in the CWS, and we talk more about those matchups going into the weekend. Chad is our analyst for that. But Monty is going to join us here right after this break. We'll find out more from him. Be right back.
Business owners, if you're ready to grow your business, you can relax. With Founders Federal Credit Union, we mean business. When it comes to business loans, from equipment to expansion, our flexible financing can help fund real business growth. If you're considering a business loan, such as real estate, vehicles, equipment, or an unsecured loan or line of credit, our team is here to help. Our local experts will review your application, resulting in quick decisions and processing. And unlike most banks, we don't charge prepayment penalties. As always, always, from Founders, you can expect great rates and exceptional service along the way. Visit foundersfcu.com/business to learn more, or to get started, stop by an office near you or give us a call. 800-845-1614. That's 800-845-1614. Membership qualification required. Institution NMLS. Identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. Rates, terms, and conditions are subject to change. Loans are subject to credit evaluation and underwriting requirements.
When I was in high school, my coach liked to say, "You don't rise to low expectations." And that's just always stuck with me. So with the help of my lottery-funded life scholarship, I was able to get a degree in secondary education. Now it's my turn to invest in my athletes, the same way my coaches did for me. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll do the same for someone else.
Better coaches means a better South Carolina. And a better South Carolina means a better you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
In 2012, inside Clemson football's weight room, a different kind of barbell was developed. The Tsunami Bar is a flexible, oscillating bar designed to enhance high-intensity training while helping reduce joint stress. Unlike traditional rigid bars, it moves. That movement forces your stabilizer muscles to activate, your core to engage, and your body to produce force more efficiently. The result is improved strength, better balance, and more functional performance. Tsunami Bar Sports continues to provide innovative, dynamic training solutions that empower individuals of all fitness levels to reach their peak potential. Whether you're training for general fitness, building resilience, or improving rotational strength for sports like golf, the Tsunami Bar challenges your body in ways traditional equipment cannot. Learn more at tsunamibarsports.com.
All right, we're back on Sports Talk Media Network, talking a lot of baseball tonight. Mike Morgan scheduled after the top of the hour. Jason Patterson from the College World Series at the bottom of the hour. Got some recruiting that will work in there for you as well. Tomorrow night over at Founders Park, we'll be there broadcasting, though things won't begin till we're pretty much, things don't begin until, is it 8:30? Gates open at 7:30. Thing begins at like 8:30. Tomorrow night?
It starts at 8:30. I'm not sure what time.
Yeah, I think the gates open 7:30. Thing begins about 8:30, so we'll be off the air. But we'll be over there broadcasting so that we're beating the crowd and kind of setting the scene for it tomorrow night. So a lot of baseball talk as we continue the baseball conversation with, let's face it, he's everybody's favorite because why? Because why?
Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like money. Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like money.
Welcome in Monty Lee, the new assistant head baseball coach at the College of Charleston. How are you?
I'm doing great. That was quite clever, and what a jingle, as they call it, from back in the day. I think, is that Sarah Lee?
Sarah Lee.
Does it like Sarah Lee.
Yep.
You took Sarah out and put Monty in, so that was quite clever of you guys. That's pretty good.
Pretty clever of you to kind of keep this under wraps until Jamie Bradford broke it this morning on his show. So congratulations. How long has this been in the works?
It happened fairly fast. It really did. When the opportunity came about, Chad gave me a call. Once there was an opening on staff, and we discussed what he had in mind. He wanted me to come back and be the recruiting coordinator and the hitting coach, and obviously come back to a place, guys, that is very special to me, the College of Charleston. It's where, I played my college baseball. I got my college degree, and got an opportunity to come back and be the head coach for 7 years. So it's a super special place to me, and I'm just really excited to hit the ground running, and hopefully get the College of Charleston back to the postseason, where we belong.
Absolutely. Well, he's been close. Of course, you got him there. He's been close, and I'm sure you guys can get that done. But your career path is pretty amazing. We were talking about this last night. I mean, you're probably the only person in the history of college baseball in South Carolina to go from leaving a head coaching job at a major school to another in the state when you went from Charleston to Clemson, then from, of course, Clemson to South Carolina, where you were the last few years, and now back to the College of Charleston. Of course, you had to stay in Columbia back earlier in your career. So I guess what goes around comes around, and there's nothing wrong with going home.
Yeah, it's really been a blessing, quite honestly, to be a part of the programs that I've been a part of, and now, having been at South Carolina twice, now the College of Charleston twice, and Clemson. They're all wonderful programs and have very rich traditions at all of them, great academic schools, and great places to live. I've had just a wonderful time at every single one of them, and this one's super special. I had in my mind, if there was ever a way that I could potentially finish my career at the College of Charleston, it would be a dream come true. And I certainly hope that this will be, the final stop for me. I hope that the College of Charleston is where I get a chance to finish it out. But we'll see. As you guys know, things don't always go as planned, and the here and now is I'm at a place that I love, and I'm super excited about this opportunity and ready to help Coach Holbrook, any way that I can, and the rest of the staff. And we've hit the ground running in recruiting, working really hard to try to fill the needs for next year's team, and looking ahead, for the 27 class as well. So just trying to get acclimated to what we need to do, and trying to get the best players that we can, and super pumped for the opportunity to be a part of it.
Yeah, I saw where you picked up an arm today from the Big Ten. We'll talk about that in our recruiting segment coming up. So you guys are getting after it recruiting-wise in the free agent portal. I know he got a pitcher yesterday, I think it was. Picked up another pitcher yesterday from the free agent market. So you're jumping right into that. When you and Chad talk about the future, what you guys are capable of at the College of Charleston, the two of you working together with the rest of the staff, and I'm sure that the school is going to help out as much as it can from a financial standpoint. I mean, where can this program go? Where can you guys take it?
Well, I think when you look at, the first thing you got to look at is the location. Charleston, South Carolina has not only been voted the best city in the United States, it's been voted the best city in the world to visit. So it's a destination city. It's a place that I don't know anybody that's ever come to Charleston, South Carolina, and not absolutely fallen in love with it. It's a wonderful place to visit and go to school. It's a great place to get an education. College of Charleston is a beautiful campus, and you can get a great education at the College of Charleston. And we've got a great baseball program, tremendous facilities at Patriots Point. Chad has done a tremendous job of raising money and upgrading the facility since I left. The dugouts have been upgraded. The field is turf and new wall, new lights. It's a gorgeous facility. So it's a great place to recruit. There's no reason why we can't be successful. There's a lot of great things that are going on. And, Chad and I have so much respect for each other, have a great relationship. And we're just really anxious to work together and get this thing going. And, when Chad presented me with this opportunity, he said, hey, let's make a statement. Let's make a statement right here and now that we're wanting to push the College of Charleston forward and get the program back, in the postseason. And, by us working together, recruiting as hard as we can, and and trying to coach and develop these players and this program to the best of our ability, we certainly think we can get there.
What will be your responsibilities?
So I will be the recruiting coordinator and the hitting coach. So those will be my two primary responsibilities. I'll be doing those and obviously helping Adam and Will and Sam in all the areas that they're responsible for, just based on my experiences. So, look, I'm going to do everything I can to help everybody on this staff, mentor them and help them. And but my main responsibilities, guys, will be recruiting coordinator and the hitting coach.
Do you know yet if you'll be working from the dugout or will you be coaching one of the bases?
I believe that Chad is going to want me to work from the dugout and to be there in the dugout helping him, when it comes to the decisions that he has to make as a head coach. And then, along with the scouting reports and talking to the hitters as they're preparing for at bats, those types of things. I'm pretty sure that that's what Chad has in mind for me to do. But look, I'm going to follow his lead. If he ever wanted me to coach third base, I can certainly do that. I have experience doing it, but I believe I'll be his bench coach, helping him manage from the dugout.
All right. Got about a minute. So, boy, what a couple of days. Schnall from Coastal to Carolina. Lemonis from his apartment or his condo to Coastal Carolina. You're headed back down to the College of Charleston. Crazy times in baseball in our state in the last few days.
Well, one of the things that is so wonderful about being in the state of South Carolina, as you guys know, is we are the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees for the state of South Carolina. There's no pro sports in our state, which makes college baseball a big deal in our state. So just to see, how many great coaches and programs we have, it's something that, all the fans from the different schools can be super proud of. I know I am. I've been a part of several of them. So it's really cool to see what's going on. And now we get to go fight each other and try to get the best players we can so we can beat each other in the spring.
Well, yeah, that's what you should do. And you know what? Everybody should be playing everybody. Gamecocks Coastal, Gamecocks Cougars, Clemson Coastal, and the Gamecocks. And everybody should be playing everybody. I think we should get a tournament together.
I think that's a great idea, Phil. Now the big question is where will we play it? That's where all the fighting will start. Is where would that tournament like that be held?
We can find a neutral site somewhere and have a nice 3-day weekend tournament.
Hey, I like the idea, Phil. Yeah. We'll put that on you to campaign with all the coaches and see if you can come up with a game plan for that.
I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work at it in my spare time, which, amounts to about 2 days a year. Hey, congratulations. Good to know you've gone back home, and best of luck. We'll keep in touch. You'll be with us, I'm sure, many times, and appreciate you jumping on with us.
Absolutely, Phil. Take care. Thanks for having me on.
Have a great weekend. Monty Lee, back in a moment.
Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Monty.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has called off new military strikes on Iran hours after threatening to escalate the war. Mr. Trump said at the Oval Office on Thursday that a deal to end the war is close.
We have a signing soon, and the documents are in pretty final shape. So we'll see. We'll see. Very good. Should be done. That should be done pretty quickly. They want it every bit as much as everybody else wants.
A spokesperson for Iran's foreign ministry said in a live phone call on state television that mediators were active and nothing had been finalized to end the conflict that began February 28th when the U.S. and Israel jointly attacked Iran. President Donald Trump plans to nominate U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton to be his new National Intelligence Director. Correspondent Bernie Bennett has details.
President Donald Trump nominates Jay Clayton, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and a former Securities and Exchange Commission chairman, as Director of National Intelligence. President Trump announced the nomination on social media on Thursday amid pressure from Congress to name a permanent replacement for Tulsi Gabbard, who resigned last month. Mr. Trump faced intense pushback over his decision to name Bill Pulte, head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, as acting director. The job oversees the coordination of 18 intelligence agencies. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
A Minnesota man who assassinated the top Democrat in the Minnesota House and her husband has pleaded guilty so that federal prosecutors would not seek the death penalty. Vance Bolter fatally shot Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark Hortman. He is also charged in the non-fatal shootings of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette Hoffman. More details at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Kirk Cameron. Is health insurance eating up your budget for 2026? If you're looking for ways to better steward your finances, consider this: Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a health insurance alternative at half the cost. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. While insurance companies tell you when to join, what to pay, and where to go, CHM is different. As a ministry, CHM allows you to share the burden of medical bills with other Christians. You can enroll, switch programs, or leave at any time. Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a world of difference. CHM has 4 flexible programs. You can pick any certified doctor, surgeon, or hospital that you want for eligible care. So make the switch. Take your paycheck back from health insurance this year. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
First Lady Melania Trump launching her Fostering the Future accounts established to empower foster youth.
Melania Trump making history, as this is the first time that a First Lady is working with the Treasury Department to set up these accounts for foster children. So far, 23 governors have opted into the program.
Fostering the Future accounts give foster children the same chance for asset ownership and long-term wealth building as every other American child.
Laura Winters reporting.
A Michigan judge has recommended rejecting Consumer Energy's plan to sell 13 dams to an out-of-state private equity firm. Judge James Varchetti said the deal is not in the public interest and poses safety risks. The proposal involves selling the dams for $1 each and requiring ratepayers to buy back power at twice the market rate. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. While we're not cooling down much, our low dips to just 76 this evening. Tomorrow, look for mostly sunshine-filled skies. A blazing hot 99 is the high, with a feels-like temp topping out at 106. For the weekend, increased chance for rain, especially on Sunday, with a 50% chance we get afternoon storms. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network on a big Thursday night. So happy you're with us. What a week it's been. The people we've talked to, fantastic. They make the show, and you make the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I wasn't looking at you. I was looking at the phone and the texts and the guests.
It's just a text, not a text is.
And the news. That makes the show. So we've had a great week. We've enjoyed it. Tomorrow night we'll be over at Founders Park. the Gamecocks they're going cocky crazy over their new baseball coach. I mean, I think they want to really change the narrative for Gamecock baseball that the fans have suffered through the last 2 years and put a very positive spin on this and get everybody back in a positive mood and excited about their new coach, as they should be. By the way, with what happened at Coastal Carolina, with them going outside the staff now to hire their new coach, got to believe that it's going to open up if they are not going to be retained or they want to move. Just depends on what they want to do. But you got to believe that the assistant coaches Oxendine and Schilling would have the opportunity to come to South Carolina as well, along with Matt Williams and the other off the field people who will be coming with Schnall to South Carolina. Unless Lemonis wants to try to convince them to stay put, or maybe Lemonis has some people in his backyard that he knows that he's comfortable with that he wants to bring in. Time will tell on that. Coastal's going to have a press conference tomorrow with Lemonis, and then South Carolina's going to have a press conference with Schnall tomorrow night at 9:30. Yes, tomorrow night at 9:30.
After the event, I guess.
After the event, yeah. No one-on-ones or anything like that prior to or during. It'll be after the event, and we'll be there for that. So we'll post it on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, for you, and you can hear what he has to say there. Should be very interesting, should be enlightening. Schnall is excellent in press conferences in that he strikes me as being I don't know. I shouldn't say he strikes me anyway because I haven't been around him enough yet to get a feel. But he is from New Jersey, so he's got a little New Yorker in him. So he might have a little Eddie Fogler type of give and take with the media. Sometimes, a little sharp answer here or there, a little zinger here or there. Maybe. We'll see. But, he is stepping into a situation that is going to be a little different. Let's face it, the attention to baseball in Columbia, the number of media covering the team will be much greater than what he had at Coastal Carolina. If they're honest about it, and they will be honest about it. The media there didn't cover Coastal Carolina on a day-to-day basis, game-to-game basis, with somebody from the media, always there in numbers. But he will find at South Carolina that for the home games, every TV station, and we'll be there if we're available. We'll be there. All the media websites will be there, and then he'll find when he goes on the road that guys like John Whittle from Gamecock 247 will be at every game, or somebody from Gamecock 247, somebody from Gamecock Central. Usually Jack Veltri will travel with him, be at every game. So that's going to be different for him. That's going to be different for him from a media standpoint. He can handle it. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure he can handle it, but it'll just be different than what he was used to. So we're going to talk more baseball coming up. We got recruiting coming up for you. Bottom of the hour, we're going to check in with what's going on at the College World Series, as we've got the first games coming up beginning tomorrow afternoon. Of course, the doubleheader. Jason Patterson, on CWS.com, a South Carolina guy. You've heard him with us before. You've heard him doing high school play-by-play here in our state. You've seen him doing some ESPN broadcast, and he's made the College World Series like his own little baby when it comes from a broadcasting standpoint and doing reports for various outlets and reporting for his website. So he'll be with us tonight and hopefully throughout the College World Series. One thing I do like about what they've done with the College World Series as compared to the past, the fact that they condensed the schedule a couple of years ago is a great thing. It is a great thing. The times I've been out there, and I've been out there many times going back into the 1980s, and if your team was good that you were covering, and typically the team I was covering, it was either Clemson or South Carolina, typically they were good, and it would mean about a 2-week stay because you would get there on Thursday and first games on Friday, and they built in a lot of days off, a lot of extended time, and it would cover all the next week into the following week. But now they wrap it up because they've taken it and moved it up to where the championship series, and this was very smart, used to be the championship series would start the following Monday. And if it went 3 games, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you couldn't get out till Thursday. So you were there 2 weeks. Instead, now they've moved the championship series to start on Saturday at the end of next week. So you can be Saturday, Sunday, and finish up on Monday, barring weather, of course. So that means if you're with your team, you go there on Thursday, and if they make a run, I mean, you'll be there a little over a week, maybe about, 9 or 10 days. But that's better than 14 days, as I've been there before. Believe me, it's fun when you first get out there, especially for your first trip, or if you haven't been there in a long time. It's a lot of fun. It's unique. Omaha is a fairly large city. It's got a nice skyline. It's got a nice little downtown area. It's built right on Interstate 80. University of Nebraska is 45 miles down the road. Casinos are right across the river in Council Bluffs, right across the river. I mean, you can be from the stadium to the casinos. If you're not caught in traffic, you can be there in 10 minutes, really. And the teams stay downtown, generally speaking. But like any extended visit, after about 4 or 5 days of eating out every day and eating lunch every day and working your tail off if you're in the media, because if your team is not playing a game, then they're practicing the next day. So you're either doing a practice report or you're covering a game. And so it does wear on you. After about, 4 or 5 days, you're about ready for it to be done. The most fun was when we had South Carolina and Clemson out there at the same time. And you're bouncing back and forth between the two. And one's playing one day and the other one's practicing and vice versa. So if you're covering, and you're doing both, you're covering practice one day, a game the next day, practice the next day, a game the next day, nonstop. But well worth it, not complaining. Hope to get a chance to get back out there with somebody, somebody get us back out there to Omaha. But I do like the idea of an early season weekend tournament where they can throw their top arms, South Carolina, Clemson, Coastal, and Charleston. That would be a marketing winner, I would think. Why isn't some marketing genius listening to us right now and taking that idea and starting to put that together and coming up with a payout to each school that would make it worthwhile, and also a situation where you can make money? There's got to be somebody out there who can do that, because I would think, you would have, 2 games? You have a doubleheader every day. There'd be 6 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and spread the wealth around. You'd probably have packed houses for all the games. And, I mean, obviously you'd play it in Columbia. That'd make the travel easier for everybody. I mean, obviously the Gamecocks would have the least travel situation being right here in Columbia. But, hey, you can't have everything. But it's right in the middle of the state. And or the folks at Coastal Carolina can offer up some hotel rooms and to boost the economy and the restaurants and the hotels in Myrtle Beach in February. Grab a bunch of hotel rooms, put the teams up in some resorts, and play down there. Play at the Pro Park down in Myrtle Beach, and have something down there, and pay the teams, and fans will go down and have a good time. Maybe by then we'll have some casinos built in Myrtle Beach, and everybody have a good time. Are we going to do that? Are they still talking about building casinos in Myrtle Beach? Will our new governor get that done, whoever that person happens to be? Come on, Plummer. I thought you were into the politics.
I want to say something, but I don't know if it's correct, so I'm not going to say it.
Well, if it's not correct, don't say it.
I think it's correct, but I'm not sure.
Well, if you're not sure, I mean, thinking something is correct.
Could always do it up at that new stadium up in Florence, too, right? Not up in Florence, up in Greenville. What's that one called?
You want Fluor Field?
Possibly.
That's not new.
Maybe I'm thinking the one in Charlotte.
The Knight Stadium?
No. Hang on.
That's not new. And no, we're not going to Charlotte. We don't have to take our stuff to Charlotte, okay? It's got to stay in the state. We'll have to take our business to Charlotte every time we want to do something. Now, Greenville just opened up they've got a new soccer facility. If that's what you're talking about over at Malden, that's not what I'm talking about. This is baseball. This is not soccer we're talking about.
Fifth Third Park.
That's in Spartanburg.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
too small.
Okay.
It's too small. Thank you, Plumber, for nothing.
See,
what?
We just got a text that said Spartanburg, Plumber.
Yeah, thank you. This is from Russell. Phil, I've been saying that for years. In-state college baseball tournament would be unbelievable, Russell. Well, Russell, why don't you get some smarter heads together and make it happen? Let's see. That's a text message to somebody else from you. I don't want to read your text message. This is from the 843. Is the Commissioner of Agriculture over weights and measures? I have no idea what that means.
I wonder if it's like when you have that sticker at the gas pump that you know how it has how they have to check the gas pumps.
Stickers.
Well, there's a sticker on the gas pump that always makes sure that it's pumping correctly. Not pumping correctly, but that a gallon's actually.
Well, that's a good point because the commissioner's name is on the gas pump.
Is it the Commissioner of Agriculture?
Yeah, the Commissioner of Agriculture.
That and scales and stuff. They have to certify all that. So probably. 2
great interviews, thanks. Yeah, maybe so. He's referring to the Danny Ford interview. If you missed the Danny Ford interview last night, it's up on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, SportsTalkSC.com. Augusta, somebody from the 803 says, how about Augusta? They have a beautiful stadium right there on the river. I've never been to a game there. I've driven by it. And I don't know that they have, well, I guess Augusta's got hotels across the river, maybe North Augusta too. Now, I'd say, from my standpoint, I'd say Columbia because it's conveniently located, or the beach because it's the beach. From the 864, they respond to that question by saying, yes, the commissioner is in charge. They check the scales in grocery stores too. Okay. I'm glad we got that solved because that was a burning question. Let's see. How about at Mike Johnson Park in Georgetown? We've gotten a request for that for the tournament.
It's a bit too small.
He wasn't being serious, Plummer. Good gracious.
I mean.
Bobby in Georgetown, great to hear from Coach Ford. Really enjoyed it. It was great to hear from him. It's a long time since we had him on the show, and it is great to hear him. Can't believe he's 77 years old, 77 years young, I guess we should say. And this one said, this is from the 803. I've got Carolina over Texas in the final. The final what? What is that? The final what?
The final countdown.
I don't know.
I don't know either. They're not playing.
Whoever sent this, what do you mean you got Carolina over Texas in the final? Carolina over Texas in the final. I don't know. I mean, write back and explain because I don't have a clue what that's about. We were supposed to have Mike Morgan typically at the 7:05 break, but we've not connected with him. So we're going to hit the break and come back with recruiting. And then Jason Patterson from over in Omaha. Get the setup from him. And then we'll hit up some other notes for you here on the program. And also, of course, more text messages. 803-900-4847. And if you feel the urge to call in, 888-898-2525 is the number for that. And we'll be back in a moment.
This spring, Founders Federal Credit Union is giving you a fresh start. Open or access your home equity line of credit and get 4.99% APR on funds drawn from April 1st through May 31st. That's more in your pocket for home improvements or even that vacation you've been dreaming about. The possibilities are endless. Imagine a fresh start this spring with financial flexibility and peace of mind. But hurry, this special offer ends May 31st. 4.99% promotional APR expires December 31st, 2026. APR will then revert to the standard variable APR, currently 6.75% to 11.75%. Plus, you'll enjoy competitive rates designed to fit your budget. Don't miss this chance to turn your home's equity into something memorable. Relax, your HELOC just got more powerful. Visit foundersfcu.com/HELOC for more information. Membership qualification required. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. See website for details.
Looking for a new car? You need to think about a Kia. If you're in the market for an SUV, consider the new Kia Telluride or the new Kia Sorento. They're big, they're strong, and loaded with tech for thousands less than Honda or Toyota. You'll see the difference right away, and you get double the warranty. Plus, you get the JT's Advantage million-mile warranty and about 1,000 other things you have to see to believe. If you want the biggest bang for your buck, it's time to think about a new JT's Kia. We're serious about saving you money.
Looking for thrills? Then welcome to the South Carolina Education Lottery, where excitement's the name of the game, and every chance at a win
Just one more. Come on, so close.
comes with the chance of a whiff.
Ugh. Well, no biggie.
Nicely done. You handled it like a pro. Because when the stakes start getting too real and you find yourself playing for more than fun, it might be time to take a break.
Good point.
Playing for fun makes you a better player, and a better player is a better you. Learn more at SCEducationLottery.com.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
I get it now. Okay, but you see, here's the problem. Several people have responded. Here's the problem. When you say to me, and that's all I'm concerned about, when you say to me, Carolina, that means South Carolina. Okay, now when the guy or whoever wrote, could have been a gal, the person, the individual.
Doubt it.
When they write and they say Carolina over Texas, I don't know what you're talking about. Now, if you were to say UNC or North Carolina over Texas, then I would have known what you were talking about. So people are telling me this person is referring to North Carolina as Carolina, which, of course, is not allowed here in this state and on this show. In this state, Carolina is South Carolina. You cross the border, then Carolina can be North Carolina. So, yeah, they're calling UNC Carolina. I definitely don't call them that. That's what the writer says here, somebody who was informing me, because I really didn't understand what they were talking about, because I never think of North Carolina as Carolina, and I never think of Southern Cal as USC. Am I wrong? Am I short-sighted? Is my judgment clouded? I think not.
Definitely.
I think not.
We have to ask somebody that doesn't have...
The University of South Carolina existed before both of those institutions. Thus, if the University of South Carolina had a spine, they would insist that they be referred to as Carolina at USC. But no, they got to throw an of in there. U of SC.
It's kind of gross,
which is like
honestly.
the dumbest thing I have ever heard in referencing the sports teams at South Carolina. Now, they've done away with it from the athletic department standpoint, but they still use that for their university side of things. Yeah, go look it up. Type in U of SC.
I go to the school.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, like in their front office and all that kind of stuff, and the emails that come out of like the president's office or how they refer to it, like among the trustees and all that kind of stuff, U of SC is the stationary or the. Look it up. I'm not lying to you.
I disagree.
If I'm lying to you, I'd have to kill you. All right, time now for recruiting here on Sports Talk. And we've reached that time of the week when it's a very big day at Seawell's tomorrow for the daily luncheon buffet.
We sure have. Baked flounder fillets with mango relish, honey barbecue and lemon pepper chicken wings, southern fried chicken, and carved roasted sirloin of beef. Beef.
That is hard to beat, ladies and gentlemen. And you heard Danny Ford talking last night about the cost of beef out there. He was giving us a very good description.
The only thing I remember is him screaming, "Vote Danny Ford!"
That was great. No, he was talking about the price of beef and how it's gone up crazily. So get out and enjoy it tomorrow. It's still very inexpensive at Seawell's. The buffet, I think, will run you like $16.50. $15.50.
Nope.
15 or $15.50.
$15 cash, $15.50 card.
Okay. And call them for all your catering needs as well, because they're standing by waiting to help you handle that special event that needs the best in catering. 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. So, when Stafford Willis of Arab, Alabama was offered by Alabama, I was one, maybe others, who thought, okay, that's going to do it with the Crimson Tide offering. But he told us last night, no, sir, it absolutely does not close the door on things at all. Definitely an exciting offer and a big offer, but they came in a little bit late. And just being honest, he said, I have built great relationships with other schools and other people. So he's going to take his time here a little bit longer. Not going anywhere this weekend, but he will go to Alabama the last weekend. He's been to USC, UCLA, Virginia, and Virginia Tech. And then he was talking to Gamecock coaches last night, as a matter of fact, and his commitment date will be like the Monday after that Alabama trip. So we'll see what happens there. 2028 quarterback Trey Wright of Frisco, Texas, 5'11", 180. He was on the Clemson campus for camp, showing off in front of Chad Morris and Taj Boyd and Dabo Sweeney, and hoping that he did well enough to impress them to earn an offer. He really enjoyed talking with Sweeney, playing basketball, playing pickup basketball with him. In fact, they played a pickup game of horse. He might have beat him. And still, for him, it'll all come down to an offer. He said a Clemson offer would be very important to him, very exciting because of their history with their quarterbacks, and he really likes it at Clemson. So still waiting to see what the Tigers decide to do with him from an offer standpoint as his recruitment starts to unfold. Safety Stephen Fox told us this afternoon he and his brother, linebacker Sean Fox, they are finished with their officials after seeing Georgia, Clemson, and Kentucky. They'll have a decision by the end of the week or early next week. They are being projected to Clemson right now. So Stephen Fox is a junior college safety. Sean Fox is the high school big-time linebacker recruit out of Illinois that everybody wants. So if Clemson gets in and the brother comes along as well, hey, that's a nice double pickup. Also, Clemson target safety Seth Williams plans his commitment for July 3rd. He's got the Tigers in Georgia at the top, but he plans to visit Florida this weekend. Clemson target safety Tashawn Poole is now focused on Tennessee and Florida State per Chad Simmons. South Carolina offers 2029 running back Braden Bolts of Crestwood, 29 offensive lineman Jalen Speller, 6'5", 320 IMG Academy in Florida, and 2029 running back Carter Nash of Dorman. 2028 quarterback Trip Gallus, 6'5", 180 of Hanahan, worked out at the USC camp on Wednesday. He's also camped at Clemson, Georgia Tech, and Wake Forest. He has an offer from Eastern Michigan. Offensive lineman Amir Moore of Harrells, North Carolina, who had an offer from USC, committed to NC State. Offensive lineman Junior Saunders, Woodbury Forest, Virginia, who at one time favored USC and was scheduled for a visit June 19th, committed to Virginia Tech. Offensive lineman Adrian Williams of Jacksonville, who had a USC offer, committed to Georgia Tech. Offensive lineman Antonio Kiefer of Memphis, who had a USC offer, committed to Memphis. Linebacker Jackson Connor of Indian Land, committed to Marshall. 6'10", Andre Gumabi of Southwest Mississippi Junior College, committed to South Carolina State. First baseman Colby Thorndike of Coastal Carolina is headed to Francis Marion. College of Charleston signed left-hander Case Gibbs from Maryland. He is a Charlotte native, made 3 appearances this past season, 2.1 innings, and no record. And we'll tell you about that Gamecock basketball offer in a moment.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. While we're not cooling down much, our low dips to just 76 this evening. Tomorrow, look for mostly sunshine-filled skies. A blazing hot 99 is the high, with a feels-like temp topping out at 106. For the weekend, increased chance for rain, especially on Sunday, with a 50% chance we get afternoon storms. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says he plans to nominate Jay Clayton, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and a former Securities and Exchange Commission chairman as Director of National Intelligence. Trump announced the nomination on social media Thursday amid pressure from Congress to name a permanent replacement for Tulsi Gabbard, who announced her resignation last month. President Trump said Thursday he's called off new military strikes on Iran, claiming a breakthrough in negotiations to end the war just hours after the American leader threatened to escalate the conflict by seizing control of Iran's oil industry. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 929 points, the Nasdaq rose 640, the S&P advanced 127. More details at srnnews.com.
Nobody plans for a plumbing problem. They come unannounced and usually at a very inconvenient time. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is your trusted ally. They recognize just how vulnerable a customer is at this time, and they want to help. They have well-trained plumbers who are there to make a difference when you need it most. I've experienced this. They're knowledgeable about their craft. They're not coming to your house to pitch new products. If something is broken, they'll give you a price to fix it if it's possible, or a price to replace it if necessary. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is also locally owned and operated, or I simply wouldn't endorse them. Josh and his team prioritize customer service above everything else. They handle every issue with care and precision. Those are not just words. I've had Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning out to my home. They back up those words with their actions. If you have a crisis, get some peace of mind. Online, you find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com, or you call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. I'm absolutely positive they will make whatever is wrong right again. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Craving a little Louisiana in the heart of South Carolina?
Louisiana Purchase in Irmo is where Cajun and Creole flavors bring the bayou to your table.
From bold Southern classics to authentic Cajun favorites, we're serving up comfort food with a kick.
We offer catering, including charcuterie for office parties, cozy gatherings, or big celebrations.
Right next door is Cypress Market, your new favorite stop for gourmet meats and cheeses, a to-go cooler, and a collection of Southern gifts you won't find anywhere else.
Louisiana Purchase and Cypress Market. Good food, good company, and a whole lot of Southern comfort.
Visit LouisianaPurchase.com.
When you think of family, you think of hugs and lots of love. That's what your loved one will find when they move to Oakley Village for assisted living or memory care. You can rest assured your family members will participate in engaging activities, have exceptional care, and all their needs met. You gain peace of mind that comes from family taking care of family. Call Oakley Village today at 803-969-8168 and see how you too can join a community that feels like family. Or you can reach us online at oakleyvillagelexington.com.
Experience South Carolina's printing powerhouse. Professional Printers is your trusted partner, bringing over 30 years of expertise in print and graphics. From digital printing to web and sheet-fed solutions, we handle it all with a team of over 100 dedicated professionals. Locally owned and operated, we have 2 locations in the Midlands and serve our customers with pride, ensuring top-notch service and quality in every project. We do it all, including storage and promotional products. Visit ProPrinters.com and elevate your printing experience with us.
How does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Sudeth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs, well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you become a customer? Call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at SudethAuto.com.
We'll be
All right, Jason Patterson in just a moment from out in Omaha. Had one more piece of recruiting I wanted to share with you. Basketball-wise, we hadn't done a whole lot in basketball. Been so busy because football, this used to be a time of year when basketball recruiting would kind of dominate, but football now has spilled over into the summertime with all its recruiting. But today, South Carolina offered 5'10" Colt Fowler from Burns, and he is considered one of the top playmaking guards in the state, 24 points, 11 assists per game last season. He recently participated in a USC team camp. Lamont Paris and the staff got a close-up look at him. Of course, they were already familiar with him. And he told us today he was down at South Carolina this morning. He talked to Paris and the staff. They were talking about the plan for him. They like how he moves in transition, his play style. And they were talking about him coming in and having a chance to play as a freshman. He also has offers from Toledo, Florida Gulf Coast, UNC Greensboro, Oral Roberts, Weber State, Wofford, and Charleston Southern. Of course, with the Gamecocks offering now the in-state school, a big SEC school, puts the Gamecocks at the top with him for sure. He is hearing some from Clemson, but no visit set with the Tigers. He does plan to let things play out for a little while longer through the summer before finalizing a decision. Of course, he's got basketball in his genes. He's the son of the outstanding coach at Burns, Lane Fowler, and his brother Will was a standout guard a couple of years ahead of him. He played last season at Converse before transferring to Canisius. All right, there you go. That is recruiting tonight here on Sports Talk. To be in Omaha. The stakes, the gambling, the baseball. Maybe I shouldn't mention gambling considering what's been going on with that. The stakes and the baseball, that's really all you need to go to Omaha. A man who's out there every year, so jealous. Jason Patterson, gracious enough to join us on Sports Talk to kind of be our eyes and ears on things here for the next week or so as this thing plays out. Welcome in, sir. How are you?
Doing great, Phil, and I'm always sticking to the steaks and the baseball, maybe with a little ice cream mixed in here and there. But
absolutely.
Nesto's is going to be a part of it as well. But, yeah, this is what a wonderful time of year. Hard to believe we're back at it again, but it should be a fun couple of weeks.
Yeah, man, I tell you what. I can remember at the old Rosenblatt place and had that lemonade stand, I think it was, like across the street, lemonade, ice cream, all that kind of stuff. The fans would line up for that before they go into the ballpark and kind of miss that sort of a social setting there since they moved it to the stadium downtown. But still, they have nice stuff around the stadium downtown.
Well, some things are so nice you got to bring it with you, and they've got a Zesto's window right across the street from the ballpark, so we can still sneak out in between innings and make sure you get the milkshake fix from time to time.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. I didn't realize that. That's fantastic. How is the weather looking? I mean, it's cooking back here in South Carolina. How's it looking out there for the beginning of the CWS tomorrow?
So far, so good here in the Midwest. Temperature right around 80 today. Supposed to get some 90s, as we roll on into this thing. But, the main thing you watch, and you know this because you've lived it, are when do the storms crop up out here.
Yeah.
So you just kind of wait and see on that front because they can be violent and certainly affect the schedule. But right now, everything looks solid. So we're looking forward to a great couple of days to get things kicked off out here.
Because you're there every year, I mean, when you go back to Omaha, you go back to the stadium, whatever it's called now. What is it called now? Ameritrade? Is it still what do they call it?
Man, they're moving by us so fast it's hard to keep up. It was TD Ameritrade when they first moved down here and received the sponsorship.
Yeah.
Now it's Charles Schwab Field. I just call it the trading grounds because they can keep changing the name. It's where the transactions happen.
There
right?
you go. I can remember that. I think I've got $25 in a Schwab account, so I can remember that. But man, when you get to the ballpark, what's like one of the first things you always like to do? Do you have a little tradition or a custom that you do every time you go back?
Well, it's always press conference day, usually when I'm settled in. And so just kind of walk the yard once, go out on the field, see kind of, what's changed about the stadium because they do make improvements from one year to the next and just kind of take in the environment. But, mine's going to be a tie to the past. One of the things I make sure I do every year when I'm out here and I try to pick one of the days off when I've got plenty of time. I go out to Rosenblatt. I grab a pizza from Morrissey's, which is one of my favorite restaurants out here, a little bit of the ice cream that's part of the story, and I go out there and just kind of sit at Rosenblatt, or what remains of it, in the parking lot of the zoo, down the right field line or down the left field line somewhere. They got a nice wiffle ball park for the kids there that's reminiscent of where the stadium actually sat. And I go out there, kind of pay homage to Rosenblatt and think about the great connections to the history that this game gives us. Because let's face it, Phil, that's what makes baseball great, right? It's our classic national pastime. And what we look forward to every year is who's going to etch their name into that history and write the latest chapter of what makes this game so great. So certainly with the 4th coming up, we're celebrating 250 in this incredible country in which we live. I'll do that even more so this year than always. But I like to make time to go out to Rosenblatt, tip a cap to what this game has been and those who built it, that's for sure.
That is awesome, man. Yeah, to go out there and just hang loose, that's fantastic. All right, so as we look at the tournament, we look at the field, a lot of different storylines. Any one in particular that you're clued in on, that you're zoning in on right now?
Well, the main headline for me is we got a brand-new field this year. You know, nobody from last year even made it out of regionals. Think on that, and that's the new landscape of college baseball, right? 8 completely new teams. The team that won it a year ago, the reigning champs LSU, didn't even make the tournament. You got UCLA, who was the wire-to-wire 1 seed this year. I mean, this is the first time in a while we've had somebody go wire-to-wire in college baseball, and UCLA didn't make it out of their regional. Georgia Tech, we know what happened to them with as hot as Oklahoma has been. So a couple of things really stand out. Number one is an entirely new field. So you got 8 new teams. You're going to have a new champ. The other thing is the SEC. You can almost hear them chanting that SEC in the background because, again, here's the SEC with 5 teams, including one half of the bracket. So we know we're going to have an SEC team in the championship round. It's just a matter of who it's going to be. But the strength, the continued strength of the Southeastern Conference is the premier conference in college baseball. And the fact that we got 8 new faces from a year ago, I think that makes the tournament very engaging.
Yeah, you flash back to a year ago, you almost forget Coastal Carolina played for the national championship. You mentioned LSU. They were the winners. Coastal Carolina came up a little bit short. But how much fun was that last year to see Coastal Carolina make its run through the tournament and then run into obviously an outstanding LSU team in the championship series?
Absolutely incredible. And being from the Palmetto State, being a Palmetto State kid, I always keep an eye on that. You know, we had some teams in there again this year. Coastal was in there in the tournament. You know, Upstate, the Citadel made a nice run again this year. Interestingly enough, we still have a presence from our state, even when the flagships that are used to being there and used to making those Omaha runs may not be in the mix. But that was memorable. In fact, the first year I came out here and covered it, I had been to Rosenblatt several times, but the first year I was out here legitimately covering the entire tournament was 2016, and that was the year that Gary Gilmore and those guys ran the table, won the whole thing. So Coastal has been a tremendous story, kind of bookending that start for me and last year. And, you know, don't sleep on the Sun Belt. Somehow they've been as strong as the ACC and the Big 12 of late because here sits Troy, a team that really should have got in the tournament a year ago and was kind of snubbed, and now here they are making the run all the way to Omaha. So Coastal may not be here again this year, Phil, but the Sun Belt is well represented, and Troy's going to kind of become America's darlings at this point from that standpoint.
Talking with Jason Patterson from the College World Series. So in your experience, the team that usually wins, is it the better pitching? Is it the pitching that carries on, the pitching and defense? Or is it the team that can muscle up and score a bunch of runs? I mean, we could always say it's a combination, but generally speaking, do you see one way or the other, if you're stronger one way or the other there, that helps you get it done in Omaha?
I'm going to give you a combination definition, okay? I think it's the team that can find different ways to win across the week and a half that the tournament's going on. That's kind of been the running theme for me over the years. Some teams are going to win by slugging it on a given night. You're going to have to 11-10 somebody, but you're also going to have to 1-0 or 2-1 or 3-2 somebody along the way. The teams, if I could kind of put my finger on what have all the teams and think about all the different teams that have won it. We haven't had a repeat champion since South Carolina did that, closing down Rosenblatt and opening up the downtown ballpark. So it's been a new team each year for the most part across the last decade and a half or so. The one thing I would say they have in common, Phil, in my estimation, they find different ways to win while we're out here. If you're one-dimensional or two-dimensional, you're going to have a really hard time. I mean, think about Georgia this year. Big question mark for me related to them. I mean, this is not Foley Field. It's a cavernous ballpark downtown that doesn't play that way. And we know that's been their MO, is riding all that power. Can a team like Georgia find another way to win a game or two out here when they're on the ropes? The team that makes those adjustments and is able to beat you in different manners across the course of this tournament usually is the one where the cream rises to the top.
Yeah, it's hard not to like that last matchup of the opening round. Georgia-Texas is a reason they saved that one for last. Georgia-Texas, I mean, that's got big-time baseball, college baseball, power arms, defense, the whole thing written into that game, Georgia-Texas. Have you got yourself a favorite in mind? I mean, when you look at the seeds, Georgia is the highest seed there at a number 3. North Carolina's a 5. Texas is a 6. Do you have yourself a favorite? Do you roll with the seeding, or you think outside the box?
Well, I always like to tell you I can make a case for all 8, right? And you really can. I mean, you think about the momentum with which Troy's playing right now. You got an Oklahoma team that's hot. I mean, you know, who wants to step away for a moment from what they did to Georgia Tech? Over the batter's eye, on the flats, the moment that, you know, Dayton Taki put together for us, and then the storyline with his mom being there and Oklahoma riding that all the way to another trip to the championship. So you got teams like that are hot. West Virginia that's kind of become America's darlings. But then you look into the SEC a little deeper, and Texas, who you mentioned, has been untested really to this point.
Mm-hmm.
I was at one of the games of the Austin Regional, and Texas looks like they're somewhat sleepwalking, and yet they're dominating everybody for the most part. So Texas, Oklahoma on that side looks like that could be potentially a matchup out of the SEC. But, you know, don't sleep on Ole Miss. Ole Miss is the team that's out here that most recently won it. They have some similarities to the 22 team this year with what Coach Bianco's squad's doing, and that they've done everything they've done on the road. You know, just strong teams all around. North Carolina probably most would argue has the best complete pitching staff out here, particularly the back end of their bullpen. There were some hiccups in the regional, but they did enough with some walk-offs, and that staff is probably the most complete staff as they carry the flag completely for the ACC. So, you know, there's a case that can be made for all 8 teams, and, you know, it really comes down to who handles the moment best and plays their best baseball when it matters most out here under the bright light.
Who's going to rise to the occasion? We thank you, and we'll be bothering you every weeknight during the tournament, so we'll give you a call tomorrow night early on, kind of get your take on the opening game. And how can folks follow you out there, both on the internet and any other way that you're putting out your information?
Well, we'll be doing interviews like this across all kind of networks, television and radio-wise, across the next couple of weeks. That's the main way you'll catch us there. But if you want to keep up with some of our content, we're at eyeoncws.com. That's EYE on CWS.com. Everything drops at noon tomorrow for the new tournament. If you want to know a lot about college baseball history, it's a feast for that. You can kind of begin to peruse even tonight what's happened historically in the College World Series. But starting at noon tomorrow, we'll be dropping special features on each of the teams, and we'll track it all the way through the tournament to just kind of give you some of the content, a bird's eye view of what's happening out here. We call it Eye on CWS because we're keeping an eye on it for you. So that's the best way to keep up with us, and look forward to talking with y'all. It's always a pleasure to talk with you back home.
Oh, the pleasure is ours, and remember, pace yourself on the stakes out there. You have to pace yourself.
I'm going to do my best. I don't want to miss any of these games by cause of going a little too deep into that world.
All right, my man. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Take care, Phil.
Take care. I once saw Corey Miller eat a 45-ounce ribeye at the Drover in Omaha. Pretty amazing feat.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is here, and as you get ready to go out on the water this spring and summer, make sure you have all the required safety equipment on board. Check for a sound device. A horn or whistle will suffice for most boats. Inspect all of your life jackets. Make sure they're in good condition and are the correct size for all of your passengers. If your boat is over 16 feet, you will need to make sure you have an approved throwable device on board as well. Remember, boating safety is no accident.
All right, thanks to Jason. He'll be with us throughout the World Series. Chad Holbrook throughout the World Series. Tomorrow night from Founders Park. Tomorrow we'll be covering the press conference, Coastal Carolina, and we will be covering what's happening in Columbia as well. Got all that coming your way tomorrow. Let's see. Also tomorrow it'll be Jeff Owens in the Fast Lane joining us as well. We talk about the NASCAR. George Bryan. Larry Maddox, birdies and bogeys on turf. Next week, of course, we've got the U.S. Open at Shinnecock. MJ Ward will be there, and he'll be with us. So as far as what's happening today in golf, we've got the Canadian Open. The opening round of the Canadian Open. And there is how many people are tied for the lead here? We've got a 6-way tie for the lead. Sahith Theegala, Emiliano Grillo, Eric Cole, Brooks Koepka, Sam Burns, and Matthew Anderson, all at 6 under par. 6 under par is 64. So Sahith Theegala and Emiliano Grillo, just wanted to practice those names. Sahith Theegala, or maybe it's Theegala. I got to look that up. 64 for them. That's the top of the leaderboard. Let's see what else we got. We've got Matt Fitzpatrick, 3 under. Trace Crow at 3 under. Mac Meisner at -1. Lucas Glover at -1. Justin Rose is even. Jacob Bridgman is even. Brian Campbell is +2. And Ben Martin is +3 as far as the local guys are concerned. Take a look at what's happening on the Champions Tour. And they don't play. I should know this by now. They don't play until Friday. They don't start till Friday because I don't think they play but 3 rounds. But Tommy Gainey has got a 12:33 tee time, local time, out in Des Moines. That's where they're playing the Principal Charity Classic. And so we'll keep an eye on 2 gloves out there. On the Corn Ferry Tour, the Occunet Classic presented by Amarillo National Bank. So I guess this is out in Amarillo, Texas, would be my guess. Yes, the La Paloma course in Amarillo, Texas. Ben Carr, 6 under 64. Ryo Ishikawa, Cole Sherwood, Chan Kim, they're at 4 under. And then Frankie Harris, the former Gamecock, 1 under 69. Matt Neesmith, the former Gamecock, 1 under 69. Doc Redman, the former Clemson Tiger, even par 70. Bryson Nimmer, the former Tiger, +171. Carson Young, the former Tiger, +171. Trent Phillips, who, Trent. USC Aiken? I got to double check myself. +272. And Matt Atkins, who I believe is USC Aiken, also +2. No, I'm sorry. Trent Phillips went to Georgia, but he's from Spartanburg. That's why we follow him. He is from Spartanburg. I don't know if he went to Spartan High or Dorman or one of the other schools, but he played at Georgia. But we follow him because he is from Spartanburg. So there you go. That's the golf stuff today. More on that tomorrow night. Let's go back to our text messages. Final minutes here. For that, 803-900-4847. My name is Bird from Lancaster. If I ask a crazy question, just say, come on, that's a crazy question. You can't hurt my feelings. Okay. Was that the question about Carolina and Texas? I don't know what the crazy question was.
You deleted it so fast. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It is from 843.
No, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, Bird, if that's what it was.
The Carolina,
I was confused.
Texas?
Because I was confused because I don't think of North Carolina as Carolina. And I think of North Carolina as only North Carolina or UNC. And that's it. Or maybe even an NC in there as well. When you say Carolina, to me, it's going to mean South Carolina. That's why I was confused. It wasn't a crazy question. So if that was the question, who do I like? North Carolina. Well, of course, North Carolina doesn't play Texas, right? Texas plays Georgia to open things up. North Carolina plays Ole Miss. But if those two were to get to the championship series, I mean, I've liked North Carolina sort of from the beginning. I think I made the comment when the bracket came out that I thought that they were underranked as a 5 seed. I thought they might have been higher because of their pitching and just an overall quality team. Oh, okay. No, he sent the question about the ag question. Okay. No, sir. No, was not trying to hurt your feelings. Just didn't know what that was referring to.
About the
weights and measures.
I think I knew, but
yeah, if we hurt your feelings, I apologize.
Question.
I apologize. No, we would never hurt anybody's feelings here on Sports Talk. It's,
you've hurt mine a couple times.
Well, people we care about, we wouldn't hurt their feelings.
You've talking about my significant other many times. I don't
care about our listeners and our callers and our text messengers.
Just not the producer.
Not the producer. Yeah. Or the co-host. No, sir. No, that's an apology. Don't mean to hurt your feelings. We just don't know anything about it. So, and didn't know that I don't know if the Commissioner of Agriculture, oversees the weights and measures and all that kind of stuff. But his name does appear on the pumps, the gas pumps. There's a little label on there that says this has been approved by it's been, for as long as I can remember, it's been Hugh Weathers. He's been the Commissioner of Ag for a long, long time.
Then, yeah, that's what it is.
Is that what it is?
They do measure the weights and measures.
Okay.
They do all that kind of stuff.
Well, thank you for that. From the 803, what about a South Carolina foursome baseball tournament? Basketball. What about a South Carolina foursome basketball tournament? South Carolina, Clemson, Furman, and Winthrop. I'm in for a great time. Keep the money in South Carolina. South Carolina, Clemson, Furman, and Winthrop for basketball.
Why not add Charleston?
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd have to bump somebody. I would think, again, let's face it, the four biggest programs in the state that aren't football would be South Carolina, Clemson, Coastal, and Charleston in basketball and in baseball. So, yeah, Furman and Winthrop, the problem is they just don't have great followings. Charleston sells out 6,000-plus seats a game down there, and they're going to have a good basketball team, and they fill up their baseball stadium. Coastal does the same. They got to do a better job with their basketball, but that may be coming because they had a really good year this past season. They just need a better arena. That Coastal arena has got to be redone. That is not a good major college basketball arena or even mid-major. That'll do it. See you tomorrow.